Can anyone hear me? Can you text in the chat if you can hear me? Okay, everybody can hear me, right? Let me turn this on. Okay, so what I'm doing tonight is I'm trying to answer some of the questions people have had, and I'm just trying to let everybody know how to go about the airdrop and kind of get a good look on what's going on tonight. So what's going on with the macro. So if you guys have any questions, just at me and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. Let me just see how my screen looks. So I keep getting questions about the flare, the spark drop. So When posted an article on Coil, and I'll put this in the description so everybody can read it. But what we have to do is you have to make a MetaMask wallet. That's your Ethereum. It's an Ethereum wallet that you can put on Chrome. I have Opera, but I usually use it for Chrome. So I'm going to install it just to show you guys how it works. But you just search on Google Chrome, the web store, and Wieswin made this tutorial for everybody to use. I personally use the Zoom, this tool, which makes it pretty easy to do. I just check all the boxes and I just follow the directions. And really, you have to put in the Ethereum wallet address that you use on Google Chrome or Opera, and then you have to plug in your private key. And this would be like one of the few moments that you would put your private key in. So I'll leave this in the description of the video for everybody to check out. The other way that we can claim our Spark tokens is with the Exodus wallet. So if you go to exodus.io, it's really super simple hot wallet you can use, and I've used it plenty of times. The concern is with like a Ledger or a Tezos, you can put in a hardware key. So like the Ledger, I have to put in my PIN, and then I'm able to access the wallet. With Exodus, you can buy a Trezor wallet, and you could do it that way, or you could just do it without any hardware part, which is kind of risky, but at the same time, like, it's going to be a real lot easier to claim the token. So I brought this article up that kind of shows you. So like once you're in Exodus, let me enlarge this. You just go to your XRP wallet and click on advanced options, and you just click one button. So if you have a hard time with any of the Spark airdrops, and you wanna claim them, and you're kind of like a beginner that doesn't want to go into MetaMask and put your private key everywhere, this is a possible solution for you. It's pretty simple. You just send your XRP to the Exodus wallet, then you go to advanced options, you click register flare address, and it'll do everything for you. And then after that, you can take your XRP and send it back to your ledger. So that's one possible solution for everyone. Then this is when they're going to do the Spark snapshot. So depending on where you're located, it'll be either any of these times. This guy made this, and he often does like quotes and things for the XRP community. He's a good follow. Stedas, at Stedas, and he has a link for the ledger. So let's see if there's any questions about this. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Well, I hope I'm still streaming, seeing the record thing, but you don't need to enter your private key anywhere. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. You can use XRP Toolkit. Yeah, the XRP Toolkit, I think you have to put your private key in. So this is the XRP Toolkit. So I put in my Ethereum address here, and it's gonna prompt you. So never enter your secret key, secret numbers, pneumatic phrase, any other secret information anywhere to claim your Spark tokens. Only use this tool, software, and wallets from trusted vendors. You're risking all your funds. So I haven't done this recently. I did this when it first came out. I'm not really concerned about anybody trying to the Flare team trying to steal from me or anything like that. So I'm choosing to participate with the Spark airdrop. So I remember putting in my private key, and as long as you go through Weeswin's website and you do all of his official things, it'll prompt you. I remember it, but I probably should have did it again, but no, you can't claim Spark tokens with iTrust. They already said it's going to be some security breach, so they're not doing that. What about Uphold to get my Spark? I asked Uphold if about Zilliqua. I bought like a few $100s of Zilliqua, and I can't get the Zill off of Uphold, and they said it was listed as a tier 4A asset, so you can't take your asset off of Uphold. So essentially what I did was I gave Uphold a bunch of money for an IOU for Zill, and I personally I'm not going to trust them with anything like that. And Eric, I really appreciate that. It's very nice of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm not going to trust Uphold for anything like that. I'd rather use Exodus than to trust an exchange, honestly. How many bad experiences I have with exchanges, just with high fees and just them going down during a bull run, everything. Will we be able to collect dividends by loaning out our XRP or Flare? If you find a platform that allows that, Tom, yeah, sure. But there was recently the other, I think it was Cell or Cred on Uphold that just robbed everyone. So I mean, you really have to be careful. There's a lot of scams, and now that we're in a bull run, there's going to be a ton of scams. Even in the on the comments on this video, there's probably going to be millions of scams. Just people saying that they're expert traders. Call me on Twitter. Everybody's gonna be trying to scam you. So really be careful right now. It's just gonna get worse. There's a lot of money for scammers, and it's really not that difficult. If you how many people have messaged me and said that they lost all their money because they gave somebody their private keys, or that there's a website that looks like Ledger's website and they put all their information in. So when you go to any of these things, make sure you type in exodus.io. You're not clicking a link from Google. You're not gonna do anything crazy like that. It's just the URLs off the top of your head. Coinbase, Exodus, all these websites. So never go through Google. Never click on them through Twitter. It's just you're asking for trouble at that point. So, sir. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Moontown too. It's pretty nice watching. My dollar cost average is now pretty much double, so it's quite the relief just to know that you're in the green. Changes your whole perspective on everything, so it's kind of nice. So another question that I was getting. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an economist. I'm not a blockchain expert. I'm none of that. I'm just somebody that knew how to use Google to their advantage and YouTube to their advantage. And I would sit down and watch all these central bankers talk and read all the banking PDFs. But I am no means, some some expert in any way. So any of the things that I say in this video, it's just my perspective. I'm going to be speculative. I'm going to say things that probably, they're not financial advice. It's just my opinion. So I just wanted to clear that up with everyone. I'm not really an expert on anything. So some questions I get is like, what am I holding, right? So I recently downloaded the CoinGecko app, which I recommend. It's a nice app. I put a lot of my holdings in, and these are some of the coins I own. So Waves, Lydion, Blue Zell, Zayat, AMP, which was Flexa, and then I converted my Flexa coin to AMP, Bridge, Zor, NEBL, Vector Space, Power, VeChain, bring up the second page, Constellation, Singularity Net, Stellar, Quant, Zinfin, XRP. I don't own any of this. I was just kind of watching it because of the whole Yearn was taken off. So this is like another part of that yield farming scene. PERL, Ocean, Meme, AVAX, Energy Web, Wanchen, BZayat, which was an airdrop from the Zayat, Ziliqua, Algo, Zap, Dzayat, and then it kind of repeats itself. So my strategy is I look up all the fundamentally useful coins, or just the ones where a lot of tokenomics are in my favor, and I just kind of keep an eye out on them, and I wait for something like this to happen, and I start putting money into it. I don't put a lot of money into it. I just start putting some money into it, and I just keep putting money into it until I'm comfortable with where I am. So what I liked about Lydion was I was watching an R3 conference, and they're talking about their partnerships with SAP. They're talking about their partnerships with Salesforce. And when I looked to see where it was listed on CoinMarketCap, it's 1,024, which I don't think is accurate, but the market cap's really tiny. So that's what I want. Is I've got the pretty much safer asset in crypto. I own XRP. I'm confident that that's going places. So when I want more risk with these smaller market cap coins. I want leverage, so it does, the 10,000x, 1,000x. So with the lower market cap ones like Lydion, that's what I'm going for. And if I find, well, this is something new that I kind of like. Core engine for central banks. I love when any coin is involved with central bank any which way, because central banks just print money out of thin air. So that's what I want. Something like that. Then when I go to the partnerships, I start looking around, and there's some big names around here. So Microsoft, SAP, Salesforce is one of them. I don't have the article handy, but they recently did something with Toma Chain. And the investors in Lydion were upset on how Lydion rolled it out. Like, it was more good news for Toma Chain than Lydion. So that's why there's this sell-off right now. It's because the long-term investors weren't happy about it. So that's where I'm buying in. Is kind of at the bottom. I'm willing to take the risk. There's more risk than most coins because it's such a low market cap. And as I just said, the long-term investors just sold because they weren't too happy with how the team rolled out things. But I'm willing to take the risk. Another one I'm looking at is called Vector Space. This one I really liked. It's an artificial intelligence coin, which it studies the data sets, and it tries to find patterns in the data sets. So one of their goals is thematic investing. So thematic investing, meaning they study the macro the market, and then pick all the winners and losers within the macro market that's going to benefit. So they'd be picking all the winners and losers of crypto through the data sets, or they can apply it to stocks. They can apply it to anything. So if we look on their partnerships, SP Global, Microsoft, Amazon, CERN, it's got a lot of big name partnerships. And then there were some talks about all the medicine for to find the cure for COVID. They were going to study the vector sets and trying to pick up on patterns with their artificial intelligence. And then what the VXV token is for these huge companies to buy VXV and get access to this information. So it's not really for retail users, it's for the big corporates to use. So I'm really interested in this one. There's like the CEO talks, and his recordings are on the website somewhere, so I'll include that in the description below. And it's just really an interesting field that he's working on and where they're going. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. Thanks, Notorious. I love your videos. They're great. Thank you, sir. Foresight. Thanks, whatever. I appreciate that. There's no thumbs up counter. Does it actually count? Gave you one anyway. Yeah. So after Crypto Ari said that that all of her videos had a ton of bots, I started digging into it, and it says that if you take the thumbs up and thumbs down off of your videos, that they won't be targeted by those bots. So that's why I took them down. With so many XRP conspiracies out there, what is so out of left field, and what do you think is sound? Well, I mean, you have to take conspiracies with a grain of salt, right? And it's really, what do I believe? Do I believe that there's a group of elites that are planning something massive, like they have a plan? Or do I believe there's a bunch of bumbling buffoons that the whole system is just going to collapse and they've got no plan? I mean, really, the evil group of people is a better scenario than a bunch of dumb buffoons that are about to crash the system with no out. So it gives me comfort to know that there's a bunch of crazy people that are guiding everything. So, I mean, take conspiracies with a grain of salt, absolutely, and see what's on paper, right? What's your take on special drawing rights? Any insights? Well, the special drawing rights, the IMF's currency that they can print up and bail nations out when the nations go bankrupt. So I don't know if you're asking me about if XRP is going to play a role in the special drawing right. I don't know. It's interesting how fond Christine Lagarde was of Ripple while she worked at the IMF. There's a lot of interesting things happening with it. If anything, I would think that the SDR would be its own tokenized SDR, and they use interledger protocol to deliver the SDR to the nations that need the funds. So that's how I would see that playing out if there was a role in anything with XRP. But it'd be more interledger, right? If the central banks need to transfer value to each other, how are they going to do that? And same thing with the SDR. It's just one possible. So just at me if you have questions, and I'll do my best to answer them as I'm going. You think they might use XLM instead of XRP? No. I think XLM is more for retail. It's for the central banks to set up their retail platform for everybody to use their CBDC on the retail level, while XRP would be more on the wholesale level. So I own XLM, obviously, and I'm fond of XLM, but there's just more going on with Ripple, in my opinion. And a lot of people argue this, and I've looked at some of the information, and it still looks to me like XLM is more geared for the retail space. Like they'll be trying to trying to put their currency on the XLM platform for retail use. But I do like it. I thought your voice was a robot filter. Yeah. Are you a Freemason? No, I'm not a Freemason. Which, I live in Texas, and when I look around at license plates, there's the Freemason symbol all over the place down here. It's kind of cool. Thoughts on Bearable Guy 123? You think he is still credible? Well, it's interesting. When Bearable Guy made his prediction, right, he had the MoneyGram to Walmart picture he put up. And that's exactly what happened, right? And then another time he said, grab your popcorn and watch what's about to happen. And then crypto started mooning. So, I mean, at first he certainly had a lot of credibility, but now there's so many riddlers and so much stuff being thrown around that it kind of disinterests me now. I'm not really interested in what's going on with the riddlers anymore, but Bearable Guy did prove a couple of things, right? So I'm not completely, going to throw away everything he says. Thanks, Ronnie. I appreciate that. Is Energy Web Token worth getting? I mean, Energy Web Token's got some huge partnerships, right? Let me see. And, it's not just about the fundamentals, right? Because a lot of people will say it's all about utility, it's all about fundamentals, but there's other things that come into play, like how many EWT are there? So 30 million, it's pretty low, right? So that's a good number for tokens. And then trusted by the most influential energy companies, Shell, Total, well, PG&E I've heard of Shell and PG&E, and Solutions. So what Energy Web Token's doing, if you don't know, is they're tracking the carbon emissions, and I think XRP is partnered, Ripple is partnered with that Energy Web Token to count the emissions that they're using. So how much of a demand is there going to be on that? And I recently made a video on this. I think there's going to be a tremendous demand on counting your energy, your carbon emissions, because they're putting pressure on everybody in the world to start doing this. They're going to change the world just by their monetary policy. So let's see what the team looks like. Let's see. Well, it doesn't really tell you anything. But I do own Energy Web Token, as you saw earlier with everything. Let's see, Walter, what he does. This is basically what I do. Is I kind of just keep digging at ING Bank, bank-wide operations at ING Bank. So he seems like at least had a decent career at one time. And I'll just keep digging into the background, and then I like to look at the charts, right? So this came out on April 20th. 2020, April 2020, sorry. And it's gone up, and it's kind of leveled off. So, and I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just telling you what I would do. Is this looks like it's gone pretty sideways. It's gone up and then sideways, right? So it probably is a good time for me to add a little extra here, because I did add some up here like a fool, because this was a brand new coin and it just kept going straight up, and I was kind of worried. I kind of FOMO'd into it, which happens, but if I buy down here, I can lower my dollar cost average, and that's my goal. So I'm trying to get these assets as cheap as possible, and that's more of my recent strategies. Is I'm trying to find stuff that nobody else is looking at, nobody on Twitter is talking about, nobody anywhere is talking about. So that's where I'm trying to put my money, is in the stuff that everybody else is blind to. So this is something I recently bought too. It's called Constellation, and Constellation was infinite scaling for big data. They're saying that big data is the new oil, and there needs to be a blockchain to have secure data without everybody grabbing that data and figuring out what everybody else is up to. So I believe I bought a very small amount back here, but that's what I want. I want to try to find things that bottomed out. And then also, this one has a higher higher amount of coins circulating supply. So I usually prefer ones with lower amount, but the fundamentals and the market cap of this number 487, it's pretty low. It's a lot better. It's pretty low. And then when we look at the partnerships, Hyperledger, Quant, Decisive Point, StackPath Global Platforms, Mobi, which is it's a mobility open blockchain initiative. Then this one says Decode breaks down barriers to improve government working with their community to tech companies. All right, so the real thing that also stuck out was the U.S. Air Force selects Constellation for their big data. So when I saw that, I got really interested. When I started looking at the just everything about this website, just keep digging into the coins that you guys like. Just look for partnerships, look for just everything. Just dig into it as much as you can. Chainlink's a partner. Air Force, the United States Air Force. And then what I also do is I join their Telegram group, their everything. And then recently on their Telegram group, they put this video out.
Community, got Benjamin Diggles here, head of business development. I just want to weigh in because it's been a while since I've shown my face. That's something I'm going to be changing here. I'm going to be dipping in more and giving these small video updates. Candidly, I haven't done a great job of surfacing the work I've been doing over the last 6 months. I got a little trigger shy after the Mongo stuff and just have been dedicated to making things happen. Very excited to say we've got partnership announcements in the double digits. I've just got a lot of stuff going on. Even just this week, we landed something pretty exciting. So we're going to work over the next 6 to 8 weeks and probably beyond.
So this was another project where everybody in the Telegram group was disappointed that they didn't see anything, and then the CEO releases this video, and then we see the price kind of jolt up a little bit because the people that sold down here all bought back in because he made that video. So I'm trying to accumulate as much as I can while it's low. I think that should be everyone's goal, is you buy low and sell high. So see if I have any questions. What if the exposure to all the elites behind the election system globally is fully exposed by the Trump legal team? Then when I think the energy web system is not going to be effective in the United States, I mean, it's going to be effective in the rest of the world. And I mean, like, how successful would they be to block green energy? It looks like it's a trend right now. It's not going away. Did you serve in the armed forces? No, I didn't. I do regret not serving in the armed forces, but I didn't. Do you think governments would do a complete ban on private issued stablecoin? It seems like the private stablecoin would be a direct competitor to CBDCs and fiat currency. So, my last video, the Bank of England, Andrew something or other, was kind of hinting at that, right? And then, like with Facebook's Libra, they were kind of giving a tremendous amount of pushback for issuing a stable coin. So I think that the stable coins in certain jurisdictions, right, because each country is going to have their own separate laws. I think in the United States it's going to kind of be, it's going to be issued by the major banks. They'll have freedom to do that. But I don't know, honestly. I think things like Tether, especially with everything that's gone, if any of these rumors are true, right? I've never dug into the data myself and seen that they're artificially saying that they have more Tether than what's in their reserves. But if any of that's true, I mean, you could watch stablecoins go under strict legal guidelines, right? That's what I think would end up happening, or it'd be impossible for a lot of these companies to actually work out. And you'll see a lot of these stable coins disappear. Only the huge banks, their stable coins will be a part of it. So please give us your best, Thurston Howell. from Gilligan's Island, Thurston Howell III. Yeah, so I do, to get back to the stable coin thing, there probably will be some sort of ban, not a complete ban on every stable coin. It just would be like the guidelines would be really super strict for a lot of this stuff because, and they should be. I mean, why wouldn't they? It's people's money. So you have to be really strict with those laws. All right. Darren, I love the content, brother. Awesome stuff. Thanks, Jared. I appreciate that. That XLM ADA. So, well, thank you to this Bone Crush. Hey, brother, do you think Ripple will be using its new smart contract capabilities in derivative swap someday? Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know if it'll be everybody in the world will be using just Ripple smart contracts. I think it's going to be like the internet. We have websites that do certain things. So I think Ripple smart contracts will be adopted by some of those derivative platforms. They'll have special use cases, but like not everything's going to run off of one coin. We're going to have a decentralized future where everything kind of integrates with each other and works with each other in a new internet. So it's similar to this internet, all the websites working together, and there's going to be bigger, big, like the big four that we have with this internet. And we're just kind of guessing on what is the big four of the internet of value. And we just have to kind of, work off of the information that we get, and we don't get all the information. We only get little tidbits that researchers dig up. Everybody comes up. This is my first bull run. Do all altcoins end their run at the same time, or would one be able to sell into the other altcoins? I think what you're saying is, does everything happen at once? No, that's not what's going to happen. Some things are gonna. Well, I'm basing this off of 2017's bull run, right? So some things are gonna shoot up 50, 100%, drop down 30, and everything else stays the same. And then all of a sudden another coin shoots up 50, 100%, 200%, and then, maybe a few of them go simultaneously at the same time. So there is opportunity to take from a coin that shoots up 100%, take profits and put it in something that hasn't moved. So with the CoinGecko app, what I'm trying to do is find fundamentally valuable coins and just add them to my list. Just keep adding them to my list. And every time I see, negative 10%, negative 20%, put a little money into these coins and just keep growing my bags of these low market cap coins, because that's the most leverage. And I'm fine with the page one coins that, I'm pretty sure I picked some good winners there. So I'm interested in the back pages that nobody else is looking at. What do you think about XRP being used for Dtcc clearinghouse? So I did a video on this a long time ago, and I found some information saying that Finastra is going to be the settlement that Dtcc uses on their new trade platform for derivatives. But Axoni is going to be the company that works on the smart contract. So the smart contracts are based off of Ethereum, or a fork of Ethereum, and it's kind of like those are going to be the most secure walled gardens, is the ones that are off of like Quorum, ones that are off of Ethereum, but they still need to leave that network and get to another network, and that's kind of what XRP is made for. It's to bridge these walled gardens. So Dtcc is going to use a bunch of things. They're not going to just use Axoni's Ethereum smart contract platform. They need to send money out of that walled garden. They need to have AI looking at everything. They need interoperability. They're not just going to use one thing. So the information that I found was Finastra is supposed to be the settlement platform, the settlement system for Dtcc. So when you settle within that walled garden, Finastra is involved, and Finastra has Ripple ties since 2015. So it certainly has the possibility to do something, although when they announced Dtcc and they went live, I was so sure that I was going to use Ripple. I kind of said it was on Twitter, and I was dead wrong. But they have the plumbing to settle with XRP through Finastra if they need to. So I think what needs to happen is the G20's got to make up the guidelines for crypto assets. All nations need to come together, shake hands, and say, these are the rules that we have. We need to work within these rules, and everybody can agree to a level playing field. And thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate that. I appreciate. What do you think of buying Ripple stock? It's $50. I don't think it's out for the public, but I certainly would if I had extra money and it wasn't public. But right now, I'm happy with my XRP. I don't need the Ripple stock as well, but I certainly would if I can get it cheaper than $50, and I knew it was at least $50. Are you invested in Zilliqua? I bought Zilliqua through Uphold, and Uphold told me I couldn't withdraw my Zilliqua, that I wanted to stake because it was a tier something or other asset, and you can't take tier something or other assets off of Uphold. So I guess I own an Uphold IOU of Zilliqua, which kind of got under my skin when I found that out. But it's my fault. I should have researched it a little bit better. But sometimes it happens. What is Flare's future? We don't know. We don't have this information where we can make definitive answers on any of this stuff. We kind of just have to gather as much information as possible and make well-informed decisions on where the future is headed. And we have to kind of pick the winners and losers before it happens, and we're responsible for the risk that comes on. Hey, XRP Carolina, glad to see you in the live stream. And buy XRP, yeah, that's right. So, we go on to another coin that I'm interested in. So, meme. This one is, so what got me started with this one is Brad Garlinghouse and Arrington, the Michael Arrington, or whatever his name is, from Arrington Capital. He was talking about NFTs, the blockchain art. So original pieces of artwork on the blockchain. So once he started talking about it, I got really interested because that guy is obviously successful, and we should imitate success. So what I really like about this is there's only 28,000 coins, and if we look at the chart, I started off at $20 and climbed all the way to 1,500, and now it's sideways. It crashed and it's sideways. So any chart, that's kind of what I'm going for. Is I want stuff that nobody else is talking about, nobody else is hyping up, nobody's influencing, and I just buy in when it's sideways. And then it's kind of it's kind of low risk for me. If I buy all the way up here, right? If this was all the way up here, it's high risk for me. So there's a good possibility it'll come crashing down. I don't want that. I want something nobody knows about. So meme is one of those coins, and then 28,000 coins. I mean, this could go really crazy. That was another reason why I did Zayat, because it was 5,000 coins, and Zayat's like one of those yield farming coins that you get Zayat, that's up 4%. You get Zayat, and then you get an airdrop for another coin. And then you stake both of those coins, and you get airdrops for those. This one only has 4,418. 5,000 is the total supply. So, I like to find little coins like that and just kind of gamble on them. But, tokenomics absolutely matter. There's no doubt about it. We're going to witness it with this next bull run. If your fixed supply is really super small, I mean, and then plus, like, if there's hype behind it at one point, it has the potential to be hyped again. I mean, it can go crazy. So I believe XRP is a 4 to 5 digit coin. So yes, it is still ridiculously good time. I agree. I think if we see central banks settle between each other with something like XRP, absolutely, the sky's the limit for it. And that's why I'm I hodl XRPs because of that. With all that yourself and other researchers have discovered, do you think at this point it's a matter of coordination amongst all major players regarding when XR? Yes, but not all major players, all major countries. I think if we're going to see crypto assets happen on that macro level scale, these are nations that are involved. These are trade. They're doing this for trade, right? If the dollar is going to garbage, complete garbage, and we're seeing that's we're seeing. Let me bring this screenshot up I brought up. What? Well, I had a screenshot. Never mind. But I had a screenshot of Uphold tweeting that, according to Swift, the euro is taking over the dollar. So, if you're a nation trading with another nation goods and services, and they're inflating fiat with no reason other than the COVID virus, they're inflating this to worthlessness, to just paper, then why would you give your goods and services to another nation? You want real money for that. So I think that's what the G20 is doing with their global stablecoins. They're getting the rules set, and they're figuring out how they want to go forward with this. So they don't want to use fiat for certain things. They want to use fiat domestically for their citizens, and they want to tax you accordingly, inflate accordingly, and make items conditional, and they can all do that with CBDC. But between those nations, they want fairness. So I think that's what the global stablecoin's all about. They're trying to just figure out those rules. Funny thing about anything came out of the G20 summit that is interesting for the crypto bull run? Well, the timing certainly is interesting, right? We had timing happen at the same time the G20 happened. That's when XRP jumped up. I'm not saying that's the reason why. I just think that's odd. And then I was watching the G20 summit, so maybe this would interest you guys.
Of making the multilateral trading system more capable to face any present or future challenges. The G20 leaders met for the first time 12 years ago.
Okay, so that just kind of confirms what I was saying earlier about they're trying to find like a level ground for them to all transact on, and
of making the multilateral trading system.
So the theme of the G20 was green energy and digitization that we keep seeing with central banker after central banker. They keep going on about green energy and digitization. Now this guy is saying that the multilateral system needs to be updated. So I think that's part of the update is blockchain technology. But for the most part, I haven't seen much of the G20. That was one clip that stood out. But mostly they've been talking about green energy and kind of, COVID and patting themselves on the back for what a great job they did. Do you invest in real estate? No, I used to be in home building. I certainly see the potential in real estate, but not right now. I'd rather stay away from real estate, but I do think that there is potential at one point. What's going to happen is the housing market's going to correct to fair value, just as the crypto market is going to correct to fair value. So it's going to overhype like the housing market and then come to fair value. It's going to overreact downwards and then go to fair value. So I want to catch it when it overreacts downwards. It overreacted upwards, so I'm waiting for it to overreact downwards. If debt is canceled via the Great Reset, how does this affect crypto ownership market? You don't own debt. crypto assets. They're not debt, so it affects it in a positive way. If everyone else's debt gets canceled, you can't trust debt, so where's money going to flow? All right, was there any other questions? All right, so here's another video clip. So this is Glenn Hutchins, and this is Senior Chair SEC Jay Clayton. There was recently news about it, but I don't think the video ever surfaced, so just wanted to play the video.
So Jay, before I ask my question to you, I want to just compliment John Williams on his leadership for the Economic Club in New York. I think
it's an important role that the president of the Federal Reserve Bank in New York undertake, and so it adds to his responsibilities. But John, thank you for doing it. Jay,
I think you gave yourself short shrift in your remarks for the extent to which you fostered innovation in the financial markets while you've been chairman, while protecting investors. As Harold suggested, and let's get to crypto, one of the maybe at the not the cutting edge but the bleeding edge of fintech innovation during your time period at the SEC has been cryptocurrencies. Uncharted territory which you've navigated with both those goals, investor protection but fostering innovation in mind. Tell us a little bit about that journey as you've been chairman of the SEC, and give us some sense of where you think it goes from here.
Well, thank you. A lot of that goes to the women and men on our staff who hit this head on. But look, when we arrived 3 years ago, the promise of this technology was becoming readily apparent. Unfortunately, the promise got channeled into an area where we have long-standing regulations that have worked really well. And that is that you can't make a widespread public offering of securities without going through the SEC registration process. And ICOs and the like essentially flaunted that. And look, I don't blame people for being motivated to try and take a new technology and raise money using it, but I was not going to be the chair that threw the 33 Act out after 85 years of success. So there you have it. But that said, incredibly powerful technology for the financial sector. I mean, it's technology that greatly reduces the costs of verification. It's technology that greatly reduces the costs of information transmission. And it's technology that can drive some of the inefficiencies out of our system. So that's where we are today. Comply with the securities laws, but push the technology forward. And the area that is of particular interest to me and many of those regulators that Gary mentioned is the payment system. We all recognize that our payment system is inefficient. Domestically, it's inefficient. Internationally, it's extremely inefficient. So if we don't work and use technology to address those inefficiencies, the market is going to do it for us. And I think we'll like the outcome much better if we as regulators proactively enter that payment space, ensuring that all the time proven safeguards around AML, bank secrecy, anti-terrorism, and the like are there. So I see significant promise going forward, Glenn.
Okay, so I mean the way he handled that was like, oh, this is I'm not going to allow securities to be on crypto, but it's a great technology that could be used for payments. That's what Ripple does, payment settlement. It's great technology for verification. He just doesn't want it for securities, or he wants to regulate the securities. But the way he was boasting about the good parts of blockchain, I think he's being prevented from giving regulatory clarity. I think there's a higher goal in mind, and I think that's the G20. And I think that there's levels to this, and the SEC is kind of a lower level, and they're just told they're told what to do, and they're waiting for the go ahead from somebody else. And that's kind of what I got the impression with him, is that it does seem like he just doesn't even want a part of it, right? I was like, oh well, I'm not going to allow this to happen, this to happen. That was the regulation he did provide with EOS and Sia coin. As they said, these were securities, and they fined him a little bit and got a slap on the hand. I mean, really, it was no big deal what happened to EOS or Sia coin. And in fact, their coins pumped after that news because they actually had clarity. So the SEC doesn't work like they work by fining. They don't give regulatory clarity. They fine people that violate the rules. They don't give these clear-cut rules. And that's kind of what Jay Clayton was saying. But he boasted about the benefits. So I think it needs to come from Congress or the G20 level before he can give those reactions. No, I don't own any Sia coin. I wasn't picking on Sia coin. Sia coin was just one of those that got clarity and they got punished and fined for it, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. How soon do you think we will be forced to have an RFID chip with a digital wallet and come to a one world currency, possibly XRP? Well, I hope never. I mean, I'm aware of what it says in the Bible and everything, but I hope that doesn't come true. And honestly, the way I see this playing out is that we're going to have a decentralized internet where Bank of America has a coin, the United States CBDC, European CBDC, all these nations are going to have CBDCs, and they're going to regulate monetary policy through those CBDCs. And you're going to have networks that have tokens, and to access those networks, you need the tokens. So, to get on the Amazon network, I need to pay for everything with Amazon coins because they're going to destroy the dollar. They're going to destroy the euro, and you're going to just see all of these networks like websites that we have, and if you want to use those networks, you got to buy their tokens, and it's going to happen seamlessly, so the front end user won't be able to tell that's what's happening. But so I hope we don't get an RFID chip and one world currency, which, I mean, honestly, for a one world currency, it would have to be super efficient, and it's going to be completely centralized. And by who? And who would allow that? The United States is not going to let the IMF have all the control in the world. And the Euro is not going to, European Union is not going to allow, one nation to have all the control in the world. You find anything with Vega protocol that will be Codius plus XRP for the derivatives market? I vaguely remember Vega protocol, so I'm not going to go into depth because I don't really remember it that well. Would like to see. Yeah, I mean, Christine, so the question is, when do you think we would likely see CBDCs coming with government and private coordination? Do you think we will see this in the next 2 to 5 years? So, Christine Lagarde said by January 2021, you're going to get some type of clarity. She hints that we are going to have a digital euro. And that was what I was saying earlier about the Uphold tweet saying that the euro is replacing the greenback, the dollar. So they're updating to a digital euro by January 2021. Well, Christine Lagarde thinks they're going to update. So she wasn't 100% sure because, of course, they have to vote. But I'm going to say Christine Lagarde's right. Just for argument's sake, I'm just going to say she is right. And I think it's going to happen before the next 2 to 5 years. I think what's going to happen is the debt is a problem, and it's just going to keep growing until they have to just jump ship. And they have to have all this stuff planned out, and that's why they're rolling it out. And as they roll it out, they're going to need the public blockchains to be built off of the top of those CBDCs. They're not going to do everything. They're not fintechs. They're not technology companies. They can't possibly do all that work. They need to incorporate the private sector, like Quant, right? They need interoperability for the European Union. They can't just have everything running off of one CBDC, nor do they want to. They don't want to have all that control just in one thing, right? Let's see. Hopefully that answered your question. Debt is canceled. I think I already answered that one. How soon? 39.1% would exit at a price between 10 to 50, which means 82% do not want to exit their XRP. Right. Well, I agree. I mean, I'm gonna use a strategy to scale out, not sell everything, but I'm gonna use a strategy to scale out on high round numbers. I'm gonna sell at 10% at X amount, another 10% at X amount, and I have a certain round number of XRP that I want to hold on for the next 10 years, but I want to sell some of that going up to basically live a life of luxury on the way up. Darren, Polysign, thoughts? Yeah, I mean, custodians for crypto assets. I think it's there's not much information about Polysign, so it's all speculation. But I think Polysign is one of those key things that are key infrastructure that's for the banks to be using and to transfer the XRP. You see Crypto Area video? No, I missed Crypto Area's video. FYI, do hold. There's a few more comments that I missed out on. No. Greetings from Australia. Love your work, mate. Thought on AGI. I own AGI. Working product partnerships and utility tokens. Swallow. AIDEAI market. Yeah, I own AGI. It's a great project, and I think that the price is kind of down right now. So I was recently thinking about adding more, just because, as every other coin pumps, I want to kind of, negative 6%. So I find good projects, and I'm just waiting for them to crash like that, which it's been sideways. It pumped right there, would have been perfect. I think I bought a little bit back here, but yeah, this is a really good project. And then on top of it, artificial intelligence is really gonna take off in the next few years. The videos that I've seen on artificial intelligence, it absolutely needs a decentralized aspect of artificial intelligence. The power is going to be too much, and they need to decentralize it. And this guy, the founder, I forget his name, but he really has a good grasp on everything that's going on. His ideas make a lot of sense. The partnerships make a lot of sense. I like this project. It's even interesting to learn about. It's such a good project. Furthermore, only 43% of them are willing to partially or completely exit. Yeah, I mean, as XRP rises, there's going to be less and less XRP in the market, and that's just going to create more of a demand. It's going to make more money for everybody else. So check out XDC working on trade finance. I own XDC too. Do you know Apollo, GSX, precious metal? No, I don't. That kind of sounds interesting. Apollo is the privacy coin, then precious metals. I mean, that would be a pretty good combination. But then at that point, why not just get silver rounds? But I guess you can't transfer silver rounds internationally and faster than a second. What are your thoughts on Hydra Hashgraph? I'm interested in Hydra Hashgraph from the partnership standpoint. I haven't done like a huge amount of research on them. I like the surface level stuff, and I'm just looking for a good opportunity. I try to stay away from the page one coins, well, especially like the top 20 or 30. I want to kind of find the hidden gems that nobody's talking about, but I would absolutely if the opportunity was right. AGI working with Cardano, any thought on it? Yeah, it's both really good projects working together. Like, it's a great combination. And then, I mean, Charles is just as good as the other guy with everything, and it's just kind of interesting to see where artificial intelligence is going. Artificial intelligence, it's right now only big corporations can really afford artificial intelligence and utilize it. So AGI is working on decentralizing that for everyone to utilize artificial intelligence. And then on top of it, Ben whoever from AGI says that, we're the people that program AGI, and we're programming them for pretty much evil. We're sales, to destroy things for the military, all this stuff. So when you decentralize and everybody has access to it, we can program AGI the way that society is moving. So it's really like kind of like a noble project too, because artificial intelligence is one of those technologies that's pretty much on the same tier as blockchain. It's going to change the world, and where do we want to change it to? And then Cardano is where do we want to change blockchain technology to? And he's really got a good grasp on everything like that. So it's really a good combination. I am a newbie. I got in before the halving. Does it matter selling 1,000 shares at a time after 1 year? I need the money. I got in before the halving. So did you get into Bitcoin? Did you get into XRP? What coin did you get into? Does it matter selling 1,000 shares at a time after 1 year? I'm not sure what you're asking. If you want to at me and kind of clarify that question, I'd love to help you out, but I don't know how to answer that. Do you think Bitcoin will be banned at some point for criminal use? I think Mnuchin, who said something like this, like the lack of inefficiency in quantum financial system. I mean, there's no doubt there's going to be some hurdles for Bitcoin. I hope it doesn't get banned or outlawed. I think the biggest concern is the green energy part of this, but as Bitcoin maxis have pointed out to me that they're able to use wind power, they're able to use solar panel for mining, and they're pushing in that direction. So hopefully they'll be able to work with the system and make Bitcoin kind of green. But unfortunately, cheap energy is not green energy. Cheap energy is burning coal. That's how we get cheap energy. And Bitcoin's got a bunch of hurdles. And then also it's kind of like a spit in the face to the banks and the fiat system. What price points are you looking at for salt trenches, XRP? Big round numbers, $10, $20, $5, $10, $15. Yeah, Bitcoin is easy to trace, and then it's centralized where cheap energy is centralized. So, but I mean, I like Bitcoin. It's kind of like a hero. It's taking down the bank. So I want it to succeed, but is it likely? I don't know. And then how much am I willing to put on that? I'd rather put my money in something that I know that's working with the system, that offers them benefits and kind of getting them out of a crisis that they created. Given that you're invested in AGI, are you familiar with the idea of the technological singularity? Yeah, so AI is going to get a point where they're just going to keep inventing things, and you're going to get to a point where they're going to be inventing Nobel Peace Prize winning stuff like every microsecond, and you're gonna just evolve to the next level through artificial intelligence. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Airdrop Drive, XRP, Theta Network will be a beast as well. Yeah, I mean, listen, anything on page one, really, people have done their research, and that's why it's on page one. Everybody's done their research, and they invested in those coins. That's why they have such a high market cap. Well, not all of them. There's a few exceptions. But for the most part, there's a lot of good quality coins from 1 to 50. And they're just because everybody's done their research and jumped on them. So that's why I'm saying I'm trying to find the coins in the back. Nobody's even looked at. Nobody's even talked about on Twitter. And I'm trying to, quietly accumulate. Well, I guess I didn't quietly tonight. I told everybody, but I had to make a show for everybody. It's I was, as you can tell, this is my project. I called it the Jay Clayton Saga, and I was gonna find clips and make a video, but I kind of spoiled it, so I'll have to move to the next one. But XRP started going up, and I couldn't help myself. I just kept refreshing CoinGecko, and I got absolutely nothing done. There's a lot of debate on VET. What are your thoughts? I like VET. I mean, it's got a lot of competition too, and then like public blockchain for for shipping and supply chains. I mean, do they absolutely need a public blockchain? Well, probably in some aspects, but there's probably a lot of things that they don't need it for. So what's the value in that? And I own VeChain. I got in at the right time, so the timing's a big part of all this. If you can get in at the bottom, you're pretty much good. Just wait until it goes up. Hi, Darren. Do you know of Avalanche or have any opinions? Oh yeah, I do. After the Spark thing, I read the white paper and they talked about Avalanche. I started looking into Avalanche. I really like the project, and then they're kind of what their goal is they're trying to take the Ethereum network and put it into a consensus algorithm, right? To make the Ethereum network efficient. They're calling this spoon. They're spooning the network versus forking the network. Instead of forking the Ethereum network, they're going to spoon the Ethereum network and make it consensus based instead of proof of work based. And they call that Ethereum. And they're, if you can clone the Ethereum network, all the companies that have built on Ethereum is huge. So, like when I look for XRP, I find Ripple, XRP everywhere. But I also find that with Ethereum. I don't own any Ethereum because I don't like. Well, I do own some Ethereum, but I'm more invested in XRP. But if they were able to clone the Ethereum and get all the businesses that wanted to be off of Ethereum into a consensus base on AVAX, that would be huge. Although I haven't seen many partnerships with AVAX. It's I do own AVAX. I'm hoping that they'll be successful on their Discord, and on their Discord they seem like everybody that's working on that project's got their stuff together and they're making some traction. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. You hear about DGB tied with the EU? No, I haven't. But I thought Digibyte was another one of those proof of work coins. I know my father owned some Digibyte, but I never got into it. It's definitely interesting. And especially if it's working with the EU. I mean, listen, if you find any information with central banks and specific blockchains, especially public blockchains, central banks have the ability to print money. So if you find a coin that they're working with, and there's just even a chance that central bank will use that coin, I mean, there's a lot of potential there. If any news with central banks is news you want to follow up on. Thoughts on Tron? Oh. In 2017, I put speculative money in Verge. It took off, and then I was going to put it into Tron, and I never did. But I don't really like Justin Sun. He's always hyping things up when it doesn't need to be hyped up. So, I mean, I kind of have a grudge against Justin Sun for some reason, so I don't want to buy any Tron. I don't really like it, but I mean, that's not to say I won't be successful. I don't know everything, and I'm not. Just because of my grudge doesn't mean anybody else shouldn't buy it. I'm just not interested. Is there someone you could recommend for instructions? Well, in the beginning of this video, Tim, I went over Weeswin's tutorial, which is pretty straightforward, but it is complicated. It's straightforward, but complicated. So the other way I said was the Exodus wallet. You go to exodus.io. And this has to be one of the simplest ways I could think of. You download it, you install it, and you put your XRP on there before they take the screenshot. And once you do that, you click on Advanced Options, Register Flare Address. You wait until it's good. That's all you have to do. And it's register for the screenshot. Then this is the mobile section. But yeah, it's really super simple. And Exodus is so somebody asked me about the security on all the wallets and everything. The most secure way is multi-signature wallets, right? So you have more than one person that signs the wallet to access the wallet. That would be one of the most secure, or a cold wallet. So anything where we want to access our funds are hot wallets, right? We need to access, we need to send to exchanges, whatever. And the Ledger and Trezor are hardware wallets where there's two parts to it, right? So I need to put in my PIN code and then I need to type in my password. I can't access my funds if I just do one or the other. And what we're trying to combat is keylogging by that. And that's why the hardware wallets are a little bit safer than something like Exodus, because I don't need the hardware key. But if you're doing it for one day, you send your XRP for the snapshot and then send it back to your ledger. I mean, I don't see a harm in that. I mean, but you know, you'd have to see if your computer had any keylogging software. I mean, really a lot of this is cyber hygiene too. Like, what websites am I going to? What type of things am I downloading? You know, there's a lot of malicious actors out there. Well, do I like EOS? Yeah, I do, but I mean, I'm going to stay away from the top 20 for now, especially if we're in a bull market. In a bear market, I was buying top 10, but not now. I think all PCs have keyloggers and backdoors. Well, certainly a lot of them do, right? A lot of the bloatware that's on a computer, like, that's how they help you, is with the keylogging software. But I mean, I doubt like HP is gonna take my crypto passwords and steal from me or anything crazy like that. But my suggestion with Exodus is it's really super simple. I send it there for the screenshot, the snapshot, I send it off. So unless you want to read Least Wins Way, which I have set up for some of my XRP, not all of it, but I plan on sending a Coinbase's cold storage safer. Yeah, I mean, you could try Coinbase, but I try to stay away from exchanges. But I mean, Algorand, yeah, I own Algorand. It's a great coin, and it seems like the whole team is somehow connected to the Fed. And then we're watching people from the team work for the Fed, and then the Fed working for Algorand. It's crazy. And it's an MIT project that the Federal Reserve of Boston was working with MIT on their CBDC, or at least studying CBDC. So I definitely, I gather as much information as I can, and Algorand's one where I've gathered enough information where I say, well, something's definitely going on here. I can't prove it. I can't do anything like that, but I'm willing to put some money on it. Why not? Someone give Darren a mint. Brian Brooks. Hi, Darren. Hi, Chi-Town. How are you? You're a day trader. Well, I'm not a day trader. I just look for good entry points for long-term holds. I mean, I was accumulating during the bear market. Now we're leaving the bear market, so I'm trying to gather up the low market cap coins that haven't been affected too much by the bull market. And then I'm going to stop. I'm just going to sit back and watch. But this is my strategy, and I was asked about it, so that's what I was doing. It was just kind of crypto flare, just drop it on Coinbase, make it easy. Yeah, I mean, then just take your money right off of Coinbase. I really don't trust the exchanges. I'd rather use Exodus than an exchange. But do you recommend singing up to Exodus without a UB key? Signing up to Exodus without a UB key? Well, you can, listen, if you want to use Exodus and you're really concerned about the security risk, they take this hardware wallet. So you can use this hardware wallet with Exodus and be safe that way too. So, I mean, they make it super simple for the flare drop, and that's kind of just what I was going over with. A lot of people that don't have much experience with everything are asking me how to go about the flare drop, and this seems like the easiest way. So I just want to let everyone know that's how I would do it if I didn't have any experience with crypto at all. I'd just do it something really easy. You dollar cost average in, right? Exactly. I'm trying to dollar cost to the lowest possible amount, If it's past that, I'm willing to give up on good projects just because I didn't get in at the right time. You have to be willing to, move on to greener pastures. What do you think about David saying XRP is designed to be scalable? It's all 10,000 of value. I don't think David Schwartz said that, but I mean, saying XRP is designed to be scalable. Yeah, well, I mean, it's designed to be scalable, but I don't think he ever said it's supposed to be $10,000. Yeah, I do think Coinbase is going to have glitches, and that's part of the reason why I wouldn't put my XRP on Coinbase. I'd rather put it on Exodus than Coinbase because, as Bitcoin takes off, they're just going to have a bunch of problems. Yeah. I don't know if I posted that or somebody else. I've read that about the U.S. Treasury and the Fed under the CARES Act. The other thing was the Banking for All Act. Everybody's supposed to have a digital wallet for Fed dollars. So something's definitely happening. We don't have all the information, but the information that we have, I'm pretty confident that crypto is the future with just from the information we have, how it's being rolled out and where we're going. Hey, Coin Collector, how are you? Oh, Coin Connector. I thought it was Collector. I've been seeing your avatar and just automatically assuming you're Coin Collector. Yeah, I own XCC. Yeah, thanks, Rick. I appreciate that. Yeah, so this is just a stable coin, never reach all time. Crypto teacher is dead wrong because XRP went from 11 cents in March to almost 50 the other day. Big round numbers. I mean, probably like $10, $20. We'll sell some of it. Just leave out. So somebody else asked me about Ethereum and consensus and how I see that playing with XRP. I think I've answered this, but I'd like to clearly answer it. So we're watching all these walled gardens being built, and we want that. That's how the Internet of Value is going to be done. Is through these walled gardens, you're going to have sort of like web pages, but the protocol that connects all of them together is Interledger, right? And the way to bridge these walled gardens is with the bridge asset. So when we see consensus, when we see these big projects happening and there's no mention of Ripple, there's no mention of anything except for a coin that we dislike, it's good for the overall growth of the Internet of Value. That's what we want. FXRP will be a bridge to it for Ethereum 2.0. I think they're just doing different things, and certain customers will choose Flare over Ethereum 2.0. Whereas Ethereum 2.0, they're working on it. They're trying to, that's why Ethereum is still a player with all this. Ethereum has built so much that, and involved with central banks, involved with consortia after consortia after consortia. Ethereum is pretty much laid the groundwork. So when Ethereum 2.0 comes out, they just went from proof of work to proof of stake, making that blockchain that much more efficient. Yeah, Ethereum 2.0 in December. So, I mean, Ethereum's a very good coin. So, and like I said, all these walled gardens, they get updated to a new, more efficient system. And also, I think I have a video I did with Brad Garlinghouse, and he's got like a New World Order tattoo on him, and the background's all New World Order stuff. And in that video, I found somebody at one of these JP Morgan conferences, and they were talking about the XRP ledger interacting with Ethereum as JP Morgan coin came out, the Quorum ledger. So these coins can work with each other. Thanks, George. I appreciate it. Do you see 3-digit XRP? What is the most effective and fastest way to move XRP from the ledger to cash out? Coinbase has limits. Anything where these are no limits, do you recommend? And thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Listen, if central banks use XRP to transfer value from central bank to central bank, yeah, I mean, 3 digits is probably too little, but we're a long way from there, or maybe we're not. But I mean, just don't, what is the most effective, fastest way to move XRP from ledger to cash out? Probably just selling it to a stablecoin and wait for those exchanges to cool off, because they're gonna have bugs, they're gonna crash. So if we're in a bull market, XRP jumps up to 3 digits and you wanted to get out of it, you sell it for a stablecoin, preferably USDC, because USDC has the most involvement with the Fed and their Goldman Sachs, right? So if any coin's going to have problems, it's not going to be USDC. So if XRP takes off to 3 digits, I'm selling my XRP for USDC and just sitting on it and waiting for the right time to send it to some place like Coinbase to get my fiat. But Coinbase is going to have problems. As we move forward, Coinbase is having problems. They're just going to black out. Uphold's going to have problems. All these exchanges are going to, something happened. Coinbase says the limits on anything. No, nothing. The stable coin will have your money, right? So you can pick and shoot and work within those limits. So if it's $2,500 or whatever, you can get whatever work done for your account to accept 10 or get it up to whatever you want, and you just have your money sitting in that stable coin ready to exit crypto. Thank you, Michelle. But there's still an Achilles heel. I'm curious to see how the reliability plays out, particularly in high volume scenarios. Where Flare has to prove itself as reliable as in the cross-chain agents feature. I do expect agents will invariably automate their roles. Yeah, I do too. Well, I mean, Flare is like a white paper right now. We're still really early on Flare. I'm excited to get my tokens, and I'm definitely claiming them. But I mean, it's they don't have everything figured out yet, and then adopting based off of Flare is going to be another problem altogether. It's going to need to work on. So we're a little whiles out from Flare, I think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're secretly working on this project, and it's integrated into PolySign somehow, and everything's just going to be rolled out at once. But on the surface, it looks like we have a while from Flare. But this is on the surface. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe everything's figured out. Like I think with the central banks, I think there's a plan, and it's all figured out. I think the 20 XRP, you could delete your account now and reclaim the 20 XRP. So I think that's real now. So I remember Shorts tweeting about it. Are you a big on technical? No, I'm not big on technical analysis, but I'm trying to find the perfect buy-in opportunities. Like, there's plenty of fish in the sea in the crypto sphere, right? There's a lot of good projects out there. I don't have to buy on the top of a good project when there's a good project that's on the bottom. I'm trying to bring down my risk because I'm in the more riskier asset class. I'm in crypto, so I want the least amount of risk as possible. So I'm going for ones that are bottomed out. Well, I mean, would we be able to tell if an RFID chip is implanted in our body? I was reading that pieces of broccoli, like we eat RFID chips, they're so tiny now, and like the technology is to a point where there would be a good chance we wouldn't even know. I mean, we probably have RFID chips in us now. I mean, I'm certainly not going to be willing to accept one, but all right. Well, if anyone, I'm going to answer like two more questions, and my throat's kind of sore from talking for an hour and a half, but if anyone has any more questions I want to ask? I'm game to answer more questions. Let me look. Eat your RFID broccoli. Yeah, I mean, that's what I saw in a documentary, you know. I don't really remember. Have you heard holochain? And if so, what do you think about that? I don't know much about holochain, so I'm not gonna. Okay, somebody asked me before, why is this bull run different than 2017? We have on-ramps that are abundant. So back in 2017, we didn't have everybody could just buy off of Coinbase, and it's this big long problem. And now it's easy to get on Coinbase. I take a picture of my ID. I'm on Coinbase. There's institutional investors. We've got Microcap or whatever it was buying a bunch of Bitcoin. We've got Square buying a bunch of Bitcoin. There's institutional investors that are accumulating that we don't even know about. So we've got that. Now we've got CBDCs going. That's going to happen in January 2021. They're going to announce a CBDC. So this is why 2020's bull run is a lot different. The OCC, Brian Brooks, has told banks they can custody crypto assets. The global stablecoin is being discussed at the G20. So all the governments are figuring out the regulation for the global stablecoin. And that's on the horizon. We've got a crisis in the financial system. Debt is being inflated. So here's another thing. Somebody was commenting that, inflation's not that big of a deal. Well, it's really not. Everybody in crypto is insane. The debt doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. But it is a big deal. It's not a big deal if GDP is growing with debt. But GDP is slowing down. And then we're inflating at the same time. So that's a recipe for hyperinflation. Now, how are they going to combat that hyperinflation? What are they going to do? They don't have a plan. They have to move trust somewhere else because their fiat's not trustworthy. So that's where I think everything's going. Well, thank you, Asher. I appreciate that. So I went over, the phishing scams that are coming up. There's going to be a tremendous amount of scams asking everyone to log into websites that look like another website. Like you might click on an Exodus website and it looks exactly the same as this and it prompts you for your name and password. Always remember, go up to this, type in everything you need to type in. If you need to go to Coinbase, you type in Coinbase. You don't go through Google, you don't click on links. There's going to be a ton of phishing scams. So watch out for everyone. Even in the comments below, I'm sure there's a ton of phishing scams telling you how to be an expert trader, how to do everything. So be wary of all the phishing scams. All right, well, this was fun. If you guys enjoyed, let me know in the comments below so I know if I should do more of these or if you guys didn't like these or whatever. But I'm going to go. My throat's kind of sore now from talking forever. I appreciate everybody that supported me and said some kind words. Even for making fun. Thanks, Tom. Even for making fun of me, I get it. It's funny. It's I've got a sense of humor about myself. A lot of people are egotistical maniacs that can't make fun of themselves, but it is funny. So have a good night, everyone. Appreciate you coming down.